Welcome back. We get some time. We got time. Render Unity. Wait. So much money. That's what we do. Delightful. How are we all doing out there today? Microphone's working. Yep, okay. Oh yes, let's just skip that. Gotta love Contagion. What are you? Bud oh, Buddy in a Box. Neat. You have a new sprite. Way back up, and nobody's got time for that. We got class to run. One of you shoots really fast now, I think. Not you. Yes, please. I don't feel like doing the secret room dance today. Hello, welcome back. physical reaction from that plop there. Yeah, I can imagine. Me too. 2.5 weeks left. Alright. Delirium. I think that's delirium. Ooh, yes, please. Ho, 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 ho. Yes. And time to hit the code. Absolutely. You and me both. Yeah, 2 hearts. Okay. Let's save those. Sure, let's do it. You stay over there, please. Broken stopwatch can be useful, but we'll skip it. However, yeah. Today's lecture is going to be especially fun because I am not super confident in my ability to make all the changes in Unity reflect what has changed since I last played with Unity. It looks like they overhauled quite a bit of it. I already got that. Okay. Oh, you are lots of fun. Ugh. Yep. Do not know his patterns yet. Hearts will take. Gladly. Alright. Let's see here. I think it's just about time to begin class. What fun. And it sounds like we have a storm rolling in. What do you do to this? Nothing. Alright, last room. And this is how we probably die, because every time I say last room, I stop paying attention, and then I die. Ew, we've done it. We've pulled it off. We win. We don't die here. We all win. It's class time. I am really enjoying Repentance so far, by the way. I don't know if anybody cares or not, but it is beautiful. The mechanics feel perfect, and I love it. And it is the grind that I have been desiring. Can you link this video? This one in particular? Yeah, sure. Happy to. Kind of good on... I think on class yesterday in the morning we had that big storm going on, and I put on... It's like a lo-fi rain video, and I just left it on after class. It was delightful. Alright. Let's get started. So, we have a donut. So this is where we ended up last time, right? We had Suzanne. Let's do this so that my mic is actually properly centered. You go here. You don't move. I think that's better. Okay, so we left off here. We had our cute little monkey head, shiny. I think I have since deleted the project, so I'm not going to show it off to you. And importing that dragon model just absolutely destroys my computer, even when running on GPU. So we basically are at the point where you should feel at least mildly comfortable playing with Unity, maybe doing some basic renders. I'm going to attempt to run through building up a quick donut for you all in class. Um, we'll talk about that in a moment. But before we begin, we have 2.5 weeks of class left, which is mildly frightening if you think about it. So we've got this week, next week, and then finals week. And most likely the 22nd is probably when I'll have you all do short little blurbs about your projects that you were forced to at least start last time. Um, back to this, please. Thank you. So I'm at the point where I think I started assigning assignments a little bit late and maybe giving you too much time to work on them. Um, but what I want to do is get you all practical experience with Blender and with Unity. Now, that means 2 more homework assignments plus your mini project. I'm I'm not going to release it yet because I want to go through and triple check the Blender one and the Unity one for the amount of effort involved. But basically, you're going to build up a model in Blender, and then you're going to import it into Unity, and you're going to play around with it in that fashion. So I will probably take another day or so to flesh out the difficulty and the amount of effort because I really want you to get your term project stuff going too. But let's see, we've got 5 responses, so that's about a third of the class. I'll leave this up for another second and see if we have any other points. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter, right? I will grade them regardless. It's more what's going to be best for your personal mental state to have 2 assignments hanging over your head or one slightly larger one. So far, I'm seeing separates. Only a quarter of the people showed up. Oof. In person or remote? 33% in person. That tends to happen anyway towards the end of the semester, especially when it's getting close to summer. I noticed I guess maybe I should qualify my systems administration classes at my old school. It was always going to be the people who were really into the material would be the ones that hung around, and the ones that realized that I posted the slides online thought that not being in class would be fine. Which, for some of them it was, but it's a trade-off, right? Would you rather be in class or, I know people have to work. Some people don't like being in class, but yeah, teach their own. I will say though, and this is purely anecdotal evidence, yeah, it's a lesson you learn once and you realize the benefit of actually being in person, whether you don't want to or not. My problem was Smash Brothers Melee came out when I was an undergrad, and I spent a lot of time not in class playing that. But I'm not good at it anymore, by the way. I seem to have lost the muscle memory. I've noticed online classes tend to still be pretty reasonable with participation. I don't know if it's just because you can be at home and, being there, but people seem to hang on longer than they have in person, I guess. So we'll go with separate assignments. Yeah, I mean you just turn on the computer or your phone and you're here, right? But there's not a good reason to dip. Yep, absolutely. Okay, well, as far as we'll go with separate assignments then. I'll probably do something like make it due Friday, and then I'll put out the Unity one overlapped, not to stress you out, but to make sure that you have flexibility there. But let me give you a preview here too. Wow, that got small. Where's my other window? Here we go. Blender, yes. So the Blender one, I want to triple go through this again, but I'm going to have you build up like a house type of a thing. And you will add, basically, there's a couple of slides that I'm going to have you go through from somebody else that handhold you through building up I think it's a bench. possibly a donut shrine too. But effectively, you're going to make a Blender model here, and it helps you every step of the way, which is great. Tweak it for newer versions of Blender, obviously. And then the next one, I have you doing some Unity stuff with the models that you created here. So we'll do that. That's fine. Full screen again, please. Thank you. Okay. Twitch chats on screen. Alrighty. So enough preamble. I'm going to now try to quickly replicate the donuts tutorial for you. As a spoiler slash caveat, I have about a 33% rate of doing this correctly, especially in class. Again, that's my unfamiliarity with Blender. It's just one of those tools that you have to use over and over and over and over again to get confident with it. I am not super, I mean, I can play with Blender and I can do some reasonable stuff with it, but yeah, it's one of those things where you have to practice. I had a friend of mine ask me to do something in Photoshop for him, and I had Photoshop from before, and I knocked it out in like 10, 15 minutes, and he asked me how I did that, and then I had sat down and realized I've been doing Photoshop since 2005, and it's almost like second nature for some of this stuff. But practice is always good, and if you like modeling, play with Blender. It's absolutely delightful. And I mentioned this guy has some current social media controversy going on, some things he said I don't agree with, regardless whatever the context is. I still like his donut tutorial, you know, whether he's an idiot or not, it's at least a good walkthrough. So I'm going to do this and I will debate next year if I keep up with that, if he doubles down on his idiocy or not. But I'm going to keep this off screen because it's basically just a little checklist of things to do. I will walk you through them as we go, and we're going to try to make a simple little donut. So let's play with Blender. This is Unity, not Blender. Okay, first things first. I guess let me pull up here too. Donuts, Blender. We're looking for something like this. You can make a duplicate of his tutorial, to be honest. We'll see. See how it all shakes out. Basically, the goal is to start with a torus and end with a something like this, and we get as far as dripping the frosting down and stuff like that. But it's a pretty nifty tutorial to walk you through some of the basics here. Now you can even set up a scene with coffee and, you know, nice soft lighting and stuff like that. We'll see. That's Blender tutorials. I am not good enough with it to start going that route, at least. All right, coffee ingested. Let's do some Blender. And I just said I wanted you on the other screen. You'd think it would listen to me. Just like my kids, they don't listen to me. Okay, so we have Blender here. We have a brand new fresh scene. Let's get rid of our cube by cube. And we're going to add a torus. Now, there's a couple of things to really highlight here. So I just did Shift A to add. You could also go to add. Again, we're in object mode. Everything can be selected at once rather than vertex-based. Before you do anything when you add an object, sometimes it will have specific properties that disappear once you start working with it. Like watch, I'm going to click here. I'm going to start, you know, kind of, let's move this up. Let's move it this way. And now I need to actually tweak this thing, right? So this looks like a inflatable life raft, not a donut. Or kind of looks like a handmade donut, I suppose. I can't really tweak any of its properties here on the side unless if it's been added in this newer version. I don't think it has. Yeah, because there are specific torus things in here. So let's get rid of this torus. Let's get rid of this torus. Love it when the delete key stops working. Add another torus. Got this little box here. Well, I can play with, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. Can I do this? There we go. Okay. Zoom in. I can play with its amount of segments. And again, I think I showed you this last time, but it shows us how much fidelity we have with the model, right? We want a low resolution, but still being reasonable. And the reason why is we're going to do some shading later on, so I think something like that's probably good. All right, we want the major radius to be 0.05 meters, and we want the minor radius to be 0.03 meters. Now it's tiny, but it looks more donutty. All right, so we got a torus that we have just sized. And again, these segments, the radii, these are only available here in this little pop-up as far as I can tell. And the dude mentions that in his video as well. Okay, so now we want to go over to edit mode. We want to go to proportional editing. And we want to hit G. And then we want to scroll to play with the boundaries. And if I recall, we want it to be, oops, not like that. G, scroll, just playing with the boundaries of the torus there. Okay, now object mode. We want to shade it smooth. Now it's donutty. So by shading smooth again, we get rid of the polygonal look. We could have done that by adding a million vertices, but this is basically interpolating those vertices for us. So Blender's doing some of the heavy lifting here. We are noticing some sharp edges. So you can kind of see here, there's like these little chunks. Well, we can add an option or a modifier, and it's called a subsurface modifier. It's the little wrench here. I'm going to add right, where'd you go? Subdivision subsurface, I think. Yes. Now we see it has smoothed out a little bit. Now you see things smooth out a bit. Don't click apply just yet, by the way, if you're doing this and playing along at home, because once you click apply, it seems to basically bake it onto this model, and you can't change any of these settings or reorder them. Basically, this modifier disappears for you. So I'm going to leave it as is, and I've got on the slides, don't hit apply just yet in big letters. Okay, so now on side view, so we've got our nice little donut here. It's going to shift you over a little bit. I want to show the X-ray so that I can see inside of it. And what I want to do is duplicate it, hit escape to snap back, P to separate it. And now I want to select, oh, I should have been, crap, I want to be in edit mode. I did duplicate it because we see the extra torus there. I want to pick the top part of this. So let's go there. So basically what I did is I went over to edit mode. I'm selecting the top bit of these vertices. So if I kind of go around, I see that I've selected all those top vertices there. Go back to side mode. By separating it out, by being in X-ray mode, we can see all the vertices too. Okay, P to separate, select. Object mode shows objects. Let's go back to object mode. Should see if we hide this guy. Nope, we didn't get rid of it all. Okay. Edit mode. Vertices are selected. Okay. Rename, so we'll call this one Where's rename? Double click. Frosting. And we'll call you donuts. Zoom in, you can see it clipping. Okay. Select icing. We're going to hit N. We're going to change our view clip to 0.001. And these are just values I'm yanking from the tutorial, basically. Okay. Give a thickness to the I feel like I'm missing. Oh, that's what I was supposed to do. Okay. Oops, I hope I didn't do something wrong. Shoot. What did I do here? This is where. P to separate, selection, okay, hide you, hide you. Okay, there we go. I'm impressed that I got back. So basically I was missing a step where I need to get rid of the other vertices, and I was missing the little hotkey for it. So you need to go hide. Okay, go away, go away, go away. There we go. Side view. Donut comes back. We're going to get rid of this hidden guy here. Now we have some frosting. Little flat layer there. Now let's give it some thickness and an offset. So we're going to add a modifier. Oops, shoot. Did not want to do that. Did not want to do that. I clicked apply and then my subdivisions disappeared. Add modifier. Offset. Where are you at? Solidify is what I want, not that. Solidify is down here. Offset 0.1 or 1.0. We see it go up. Thickness 0.0025. Okay. Hard angle on icing. So you see this kind of like bowl cut that we've got going on here. We want to actually swap the order with the subsurface modifier. Then it becomes a little bit less pronounced. All right, so now we have a donut with some kind of machine-like frosting. If I render this, it's gonna be tiny. But I have to move the camera for that thing. So we have that. Back to the side view. Now we are going to play with the icing a little bit. And this is where it starts to kind of, some of your creativity can take effect. So let's go into the solidify modifier. We want to uncheck. So we want to basically want to see the vertices here. Uncheck glass box. Okay. That's not it. All right. So we need these vertices. Okay, so let's select with a right click, subdivide. If we recall subdivide, that gives us more vertices. All right. Now we want to alt left click. What's going on here? Yeah, this is where things are starting to go wrong for me. I knew it would happen eventually. Frosting, Alt A deselects, Alt left click. We are prepared, no worries. I'm picking the inside vertices. Why am I doing that? I want these guys. I need the edge. Come on, edge, please. There we go. Don't want to select these manually, so can I just do this? Yes. I might just do a little bit here. Alt left click, invert selection. H to hide, Alt H to move back. You know what? We'll just play around with this a little bit. No, I want to move it. This is not going how I thought it would. Object mode. Yeah. We've lost it. There's a point here where things start to go wrong. Select two vertices, E for extrude. Oh, let's one last attempt here. Select two vertices. Vertex mode. E to extrude. Okay, there we go. I think I just kind of, oops, it's going up. We don't want it to go up. I think it's possible that I have just kind of missed a few steps and we are now at the point where like it's not going to look as natural as it could. But if I go back to object mode, yeah, Got some overhang. Good enough. All right, so pick our frosting. Solidify. We want to crease, so let's change the inner to 1. See if this works. This is supposed to make it look stuck to the donut. So we'll see. If you follow along with that, I would definitely say it's something you could play with. And can we add in a quick texture? Let's give this Simpsons Donuts texture. Base color. Color. What color do we want? Pumpkin. I'm gonna do Simpsons-esque. Okay. Oh wow, we're even missing some. Okay, so it's clipping through here in a point, interestingly. But there we have a nice purple donut. And we can add, let's see, let's pick the donut itself, add a color. Let's give this guy some kind of donut-y brownish. Oops, I've got the wrong one picked. Frosting's picked. Layout. Donut. Texture paint. There we go. Okay, you need to be that. Beautiful donut. It's something. Absolutely. Yummy. You know, it looks like one of you already took a bite out of it. I could probably kind of mock along this line and make it look like a tooth mark or something like that. I don't know why that's clipping through there, though. That's interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and save this as, let's put it on the desktop. Let's call it Bad Donuts. Honestly, though, it is realistic. If you do go through the guy's YouTube tutorial, it's like a 13 or 14 part video, and this is kind of the speed run for that. So it's an interesting view, I guess, at least. So can we maybe zoom in now a little bit? Let's move you closer. Oh, I want you down, 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 down. What's our camera looking at here? Well, it gives us a good idea of how to use Blender besides just making donuts. So that's kind of the Hello World tutorial that's up there. He's got a million videos on Blender, honestly. So it's a start, I suppose. There's a lot. So actually, let me zoom in a bit here. Scale 5, 5, 5. See how we can do here. Render image. It's a little better. We can see a bit more. Let's jump this up to 25. So I'm just scaling our camera. Render. Thank you. Yeah, good enough. Good enough. Let's set it on fire. All right, can we link you two together? Ah, what was that? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, import whatever assets are going to get you up and running sooner. We'll talk about that when we do Unity here. But, yep, absolutely fine. Yeah, no, don't make your own. This is more just to get you going. This is something that takes years of experience, honestly. All right, so let's move on with the lecture. So I'm not going to play this for you right now because I want to get you into Unity. Watch this though, it's a 10-minute video. These CG cookie videos are also really good for doing modeling in Blender and stuff like that. I don't think they have any scandals going on, but basically he kind of walks you through, let's see, just kind of some of the 3D modeling principles. RIP me next year. Are we talking about the project I'm going to have you working on? Yeah, so, oh yeah, I'm trying to middle click this and zoom around. It's very clearly a YouTube video. But yeah, check out this video. It's pretty good. Natalie's going to be modeling a smart home for me, and she's going to love it. So, we are not doing this, not doing this, not doing this. Okay. Oh, let's drop our Blender file into Babylon here. So let's export. Use the GLTF. Bad donut. Love it. Okay. Desktop. .glb. Wow, it imported the material. Kind of. Look at those dribbles. Oh wow, that's awful. Um, but hey, it's kind of there. So what you're seeing here, these are clipping issues that are going on. So by me kind of half-assing the topping, this is what's happening. Existential donut. I'm kind of in the mood for going up to what's that place, Sprinkles up on Lake Michigan Drive? They've got some good donuts there. Anyway, that's pretty much what we'll be doing with Blender. As I mentioned, so there are these slides that I'm going to have you go through in the Blender assignment. Basically, it kind of walks you through. I think you're going to make you're going to make a donut shrine. Hallucinogenic donut. Ooh, the good kind. So you're going to make a shrine to the donut, and a bench, and a building. But this is a very well-written walkthrough, and I'm going to triple check for you to make sure that it's still valid for current versions of Blender. But you're going to place your donut shrine inside of your building, and then you're going to drop that into Unity afterwards. But let's get going with Unity. Now, let's start. Yeah. Unity time, Pog. And if I believe you're in game dev, you're doing Unreal Engine. So you get kind of a nice 1-2 punch of all the big ones. And I'm probably not gonna have time to talk about Godot, unfortunately, but that's another good framework if you're interested. For reference, before we go into this, well, it was apparently puberty's coming back again. Godot. So this is another game engine. We back on Unity. Oh, so you'll be this is basically going to be a intro / basics of Unity type of thing for you in graphics. So hopefully not too bland. But Godot is one of the other engines that are out there. And the way I kind of view, so I have never done Unreal Engine, by the way. So if, I know a lot of big studios use Unreal Engine and they like it. Yeah, that's interesting. But if you like Python, Godot uses Python-ish. So it's called GD script, but it's basically Python. Unity uses C#, which you can do in Linux too. It's just mono developed then. Unity is very beginner friendly, as is Godot, but the documentation for Godot sucks. Currently, at least. At least I found when I've been playing with it for little hobby projects. Everything that I have learned in Godot, I've done from people's like random blogs or tutorials. Like, I don't know if you saw this Godot tutorial pop up here, but like there's this guy is doing kind of a Legend of Zelda-y type of walkthrough with Godot. Why are you zipping all around the place here? So you're kind of ending up with like a tile map 2D kind of a game. Whoa, let's smack the laptop. That's a great idea. It's interesting. It's a nice framework, but the documentation's a bit iffy to me at least. So, no more donuts for you, seriously. I'd love to show you my setup here. So I've got a nice IKEA desk. I've got a riser that it's basically just made out of wood. I've got a monitor here, and then I've got a kid's chair that my laptop is balanced on because that's the only thing that my webcam can mount to here. So it's very, if I move it, it's very shaky. So Unity. This is, yeah, it's quite the jerry-rigged thing. Reason why is that my kids stole my actual work desk for class because this is the quietest place in the house. So Unity is if you've never heard of it, and if you're not in the game design course, I do have a desk. It's a nice desk. I actually got it from somebody in Holland. Um, I just don't have two desks because my kids stole my nice one. But it's cross-platform. So that means you can do it on Windows, Linux, Mac, means that you can build for all those operating systems plus mobile, plus HTML5, which is awesome if you're a developer who wants to monetize for as many platforms as possible. And it's written, the scripting language under the hood is C# or MonoDevelop if you are, or sorry, Mono. You can use MonoDevelop if you want to start coding. Everything you can do is pretty much visual too, which is nice. It's very, very handy. And if you have never played with one of these frameworks before, you can do 3D modeling in it. So it's got Blender capabilities. You can do animation. You can do visual scripting, so you can like connect a bunch of nodes and have things happen. If you want more power with modeling, though, you definitely have to go the Blender route, generate a model, then import it into Unity. Um, you could make the argument that everything that we have done in WebGL, we could easily do in Unity as well. So everything with your particles, everything that we have done with the Sierpinski gasket, could have done in Unity, but all the stuff under the hood is completely abstracted out from you. So you don't really understand like what the GPU is doing, what this is doing. You're basically just writing shader code, which you all, probably saw in Shader Toy or, some of those sandboxes that we've looked at. But it's kind of a fun little thing. So some stuff that you can do with it. So I think I've shown this before. Is it Dungeon Ball? It's been a while since I've played with these projects. Yeah, I showed you this before. My janky ball roller dungeon thing. I don't even know that I have the code for this anymore, to be honest. But this is a project that was, wow, it's really chunky right now. Um, I modified the basic ball roller tutorial that's up on the Unity site. I added a texture to the ball. I added a torch that I grabbed off the asset store. And I added some procedural cellular automata kind of like walls in here. Is it shift that gets rid of the... Wow, that broke. Shift? No. T? There's a key that does like some... Wow, this is really bad. We can just keep jumping forever. But let's not kill my computer here. Blender might be sucking up resources too. Save. Yep. Okay. You can do some neat stuff with it, basically. And one of the things that you're going to see with with Unity, is that it's not technically free. Things have changed since the pandemic. This figure is probably uh, not valid as much anymore, but you basically have the option between Unity Pro and Unity Free, and this just kind of depends on how you're using it. So like with a lot of these engines out there, if you're making games and they're little indie games, use it forever, that's fine. Once you start moving, like here it says, if you're selling $200,000 per year in revenue, then you have to upgrade to the licensing plan that you're basically going to be using it for, right? Plus, with some of these extra plans, you can get more support, more stuff that you can use in Unity. Same with Unreal Engine, I'm pretty sure, as well. For all of you, I'm gonna guess personal's just fine, unless one of you are kind of a latent games developer and you haven't made yourself known that you're making millions of dollars off Unity already. But I think this is, I don't even remember seeing this in the starter yet. Okay, that's good. Philip's already a millionaire. If this is something that interests you, I'm going to be going through the basics. Nice. Are they the Matchbox cars or? Yes, he actually did get his third Porsche this week. There is a great tutorial site up on Unity. So one of the things which is absolutely worth checking out if you want to get into learning Unity um, is their Unity Learn site. So they have a ton of tutorials up here. I'm going to sign in because I need to be up here anyway. Now you just use your Google account or some kind of OAuth. But if you want to do particle systems, there's a tutorial for that. If you want to make this looks like a first-person dungeon crawler maybe kind of thing, um, or maybe this is just a 2D dealy. But there's all of these little tutorials out there, and even some of them have like beginner projects, or I don't remember what they call them, like micro projects or starter projects, where if you want to do your first FPS, here is the starter code you need for that. If you want to do your first Zelda, like here's a, a basic project to get you up and running. Why I'm highlighting this and spending so much time is that this was behind a paywall last year. Once the pandemic started, they made this all free. And it was free for like the summer or something like that. And then they just made it free forever, which is awesome. So if you want to do like anything in Unity, they probably have a tutorial for it. Like there's the ball roller. Nope, that's going to be something else. Zelda. It was like something's 2D adventure. I got a Lego thing. Ruby's 2D adventure, maybe? Sprite sheeting, spriting, Ruby's adventure. Where'd that go? Ruby's, Ruby's adventure. Okay, yeah, here we go. So this is a project, a full-on like set of tutorials where they walk you through everything to make a 2D RPG. So this is like a Zelda, a 2D Zelda type of game. And they give you everything you need to get up and running with it. And let's see if we have a final version here. But again, this is like the kind of stuff where if you want to do Unity, walking through some of these tutorials and taking the time to actually sit and do it, you'll get experience with everything that you need to do to, start doing stuff on your own. I mean, even just take this and extend it for your own personal game. And the question which may come up if some of you haven't really started on your project yet, I am absolutely fine with you starting with tutorials and assets and stuff like that. Anything to get you up and running. Just make sure that you modify it in some way. I'd like to see what this looks like when it's done. But, like, here's the code you need for an NPC to wander around and talk to you. It's awesome. And again, why it's awesome is that that's all free now. It wasn't free before. When I sit down to go through what I want to do next year, I'll probably start going through some of those again. Okay, ball, roller, Unity. Here we go, roll a ball. This is your hello world, and I'm pretty sure that I have you doing this too. They have made it pretty? Okay, that's just graphics. But you basically build something like this, so a little, kind of an oblique perspective here for 3D for rolling a ball around a screen. I replicated it slightly too a while back. Load, please. I think you can get rid of the made with Unity screen if you do the Pro version. But this is your basic ball roller demo. It's Hello World of Unity 3D stuff. But you can pick up little spinny cubes. So this takes you through what a prefab is. It takes you through singular objects, collisions, physics, stuff like that. And I tweaked mine so that the speed and velocity of the ball increases every time I think it hits the wall, it goes up. Or every time that you go in the direction and I don't cap it. And I won. Hooray. So, fun stuff. And all I did was I built this in Unity and I clicked export to HTML5, which is delightful. So, as we get going here, I already opened this up, and what you're going to see when you pop open Unity, you get the Unity Hub. Let's go back to presenting mode so that we can all see this. You're going to get something that looks like this. One of the, there you go, Natalie, Roomba simulation from 2017. I still haven't gotten it done. Um, you're going to see that you can have multiple versions of Unity on your system. It's basically like having multiple versions of Python or multiple versions of the .NET framework. They release new ones every so often, and you can pick the version that you're building. If you have one that's old and deprecated, you have to basically upgrade your project to use the newer one. And yeah, so Unity Hub's first thing that you see. We can pick 2D or 3D as well. So if you want to do a 2D project, if you want to do a 3D project, if you want to do 2.5D, we can do that as well. This one that you see here, this is another Unity tutorial, by the way. This is one that I probably should do since I like playing with roguelikes, but this is a nice graphical roguelike involving zombies and stuff like that. But you can basically pick your perspective as you go. So if I were to open up the Unity Hub here, got it right here. Yeah, I can click New. I can pick my version of Unity, so I've actually had to delete a few of them. Click New. I can pick a 2D project. I can pick a 3D project. High definition. RP is render pipeline. Basically, if I pick this, and maybe I will pick this and let it spin up, you get some kind of pre-baked settings applied for you for like a HD type of a project. But we can also do mobile 2D, mobile 3D, augmented reality, virtual reality. These are all kind of pre-baked workspaces that you can use. So let's try this HD one, because if I recall, it comes with an interesting default scene. It's been a while since I've run that one. This also takes like 2 minutes to run on my computer, so I'll let that go for now. So we have 3D, we have 2D, 2.5D. 2.5D is where like you fix the camera and you kind of have a slightly different view, so your background kind of looks like it's 3D maybe, or your assets all look 3D, but you're still on just an XY plane. That's possible too. This effect that you see here, so this is like looking at your 2D, 2.5D. Yeah, that's kind of the new thing with indie games right now, right? Well, quote unquote new. That make it feel like it's a current gen game, but it's still an old school platformer type of thing. But you basically just build up different layers. So here we've got a layer of flowers. Here we've got a layer of grass. Up here you probably have your player or something like that. Right? And your camera is just looking at it head on with a perspective view. And remember, perspective kind of goes towards a vanishing point, right? That gives you a baked-in parallax effect just by taking this camera perspective or this camera view and applying it to a scene. Not that hard, honestly, to set up if we're using something like Unity or Unreal or even Godot. Is this open yet? Still going. Yeah, you're going to be there a while. I should have gotten that going before class. So if you've never heard the term parallax before, that's kind of what you see in this little GIF here. Basically, all this is, yeah, it's a nice little demo here. But just think of this purely from a programming perspective, okay? You could think of this like you're swinging a camera around, right? So maybe we have that perspective camera and we're just kind of rotating it slightly. I could also just be shifting this layer at a different velocity than this layer back there. And, maybe just warping this scene here to give it that effect if we have a standard 2D camera. Basically, we can use lots of different strategies to mimic something like this, right? So let's get going here. Okay, this is never gonna finish. I'm just gonna cancel this. Hopefully I don't break it by doing this. Nope, it's gonna go whether it wants me to or not. All right, I'm gonna move my presentation over to the other screen now just so that I can see what I want to be doing. But I want to show you some of the things that we're gonna be playing with here in Unity. And one thing to keep in mind too is that this interface does change, the buttons change just like Blender. They're always optimizing it and updating things. So last time I ran graphics was last winter. This interface is different in a lot of ways. First one, dark mode. Nice starting point. The concepts are all the same at least though. So I have created a 3D project here. So we have our scene. I'm gonna middle click and I can kind of pan. I can right click and kind of do this mouse look type of thing. Here we have a little widget. I think this is called the widget, where I can pick the different axes to, kind of look at different views. Another engine where I don't know all the hotkeys offhand, so just bear with me. Sorry, this is a gizmo. It's not a widget. We have some different stuff here too. So we have our scene over here. So this is our scene hierarchy. We have our properties over here in something called the inspector. We have our project animation and console down here. And these are basically going to be all of the things that you can have in your project, including scripts, including materials, including prefabs. Prefabs we'll kind of go over pretty soon. But basically, this is all the stuff that you can add into your project. All the stuff that is alive in your project is up here in the hierarchy. So here we see a camera. So that's this guy here. We see a directional light. We see it right here. In our scene, this is the whole thing. The way that frameworks like Unity and Godot and Unreal probably, and have to uninstall Halo in order to get Unity on here, huh? Why do you have to uninstall Halo? Is it a space thing? I apologize if that's the case. I didn't think it was that beefy, was it? No, that's fine. That's why I have chat, so that you can all talk to me. It's a little bit less formal than having to raise your hand and wait for me to glare at you, right? I can just look over here and glare. 17 gigs? Holy shit. Really? Brackeys is the bomb. I've heard of Brackeys. I've never played with it. Unity. If it's 17 gigs, I'm gonna be... I haven't looked at it because I... Installs. Can I add one? Let's go back to 2019 and see how much space it's gonna take up. 10.5 gigs. Holy crap. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, he's a YouTuber. Okay. Well, the reason why I said that is I've seen people doing stuff with brackeys on like game r/game dev or r/roguelike dev, and I thought it was thought it was a GUI. That's funny. Okay, I'll have to look at his stuff then. All right, let's pull this back up. Brackeys. Oh, he's the guy that did the goodbye video. Okay. Gotcha. I saw that pop up somewhere. Interesting. Okay. I think I mentioned this. I got on the coding train videos, and those are just tickling my fancy for P5 generative stuff. Anyway, back on topic. Sorry for the massive install. Oh, this thing finally loaded. No, it's loaded in my there we go. Stuff is happening here. Baited. Is this done loading? Yeah, so here we have a different scene than I'm used to. It's been a while since I've done the high def one. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so by the way, I loaded this basic high def project and I just clicked play. While we're going here, basically your scene you see in this window, clicking play is basically run, build and run. So, ooh, snazzy. That's pretty darn cool. Hey, that's neat. So this is using like high def textures. Can I click? Can I do anything? No. Okay. I'm impressed. This is nice. Dang. This is much nicer than the old high def tutorial. No jump? No jumping. No jumping allowed. No strafing. What kind of simulator is this? Hey, you could take this demo here and build the next, like those walking simulators where you pick up 5 things before the guy following you gets you. Your Slender Man or your, what was the one that all the YouTubers are doing last year? That awful, like, MS Paint texture one, where you're in the school picking up addition and stuff like that. This is gorgeous. Wow. All right, we gotta stop. That's cool. I like that. So if you want to do a high def render pipeline, there you go. Untitled Goose Game. That's a fun one. No, I'm thinking of yeah, I don't remember. But there you go. You get your basic stuff there. So we have a scene. So I clicked play. You can pause to debug. Um, losing my place for things I want to talk about. So you made me open brackeys. That's why. Okay, so scene here. Let's add a game object. Now, a game object are the things that you will be interacting with in your thing here. Thing is being used multiple ways. So I can create an empty game object, which means that I'm going to do stuff with it later. Like maybe I want to instantiate it. I can do some 3D objects. If this was a 2D project, I would see 2D objects like rectangles and circles and stuff like that. Here you see cubes, capsules, ragdolls, terrain, trees. Can add particle systems, lights, audio, video, user interface. This is something where you basically have to add a canvas and then add text to that. And then it's kind of like it's an interesting, it's almost like you're adding a HTML canvas and then you are going to position your UI elements on that canvas. You don't see the canvas in your scene, but you kind of reference it with a different position. So let's add a sphere. So I'm scrolling. Hey, nice sphere. Hey, that's neat. Okay, so we see our lights kind of looking this way. We see our camera is over there. If I hit play, it's going to hold on. We have a ball. Let's move the camera down this way. Closer, closer. And let's rotate you. This would be Z? No, not Z. X. Why am I thinking it's Y? There we go. This is one of the cool features that I like about Unity's interface here. So I've clicked the camera, or you can click the ball. Basically, here's all of your attributes and your properties on the right in the inspector. You can just like hover over one of the labels and drag. So like I'm just clicking and dragging, or I could just enter them indirectly. It's a nice interface thing. Those of you that are playing with Unity already probably are well aware of that, but I always find that kind of a nice little feature. So all I did was drag my camera around and kind of rotate it, and we can see the camera view there. So let's hide that for now. All right, so this is an object. How cool. Other stuff that we have here, and I'm not going to, well, we'll present, see if we can, yeah, we'll present. Other stuff we can add. So that's a game object. A prefab is an awesome thing that you should take advantage of. Absolutely take advantage of when you're working in Unity. It's a way to basically pre-build something and then instantiate it a million times. So if you're going to make a rock that you can blow up, for instance, and it's got a heart inside it or something like that, since I was playing Isaac before this, well, I'll just make a prefab with a rock with a heart inside it, and then I can just instantiate it wherever I want. I've only created one object, and I'm basically copying it over and over and over again. We have physics in here, we have scripting in here as well. So basically, it is a nice tool where it takes care of all of your wants and your needs. All right, so let's add some physics on here. I click the sphere, and we see a lot of stuff in here. So we see it's a sphere, we see some materials, lighting, does it cast shadows, does it receive shadows? Again, more stuff that you can kind of play around with for your scene. We see that it has a collider. So you can apply colliders to your objects, meaning that if that collider interacts with another collider, an event will get triggered. And you can handle those events in C#, or I think you can even visually script it out too. But we have that. Let's add on physics. Oops, that's not what I want to add on. I want to add on my physics. I thought it was there. Why is it not where I think it was? It's right here. Okay. I was searching for physics and I couldn't find physics. Here's physics. Okay. So I can add on a force. I can make it, again, a collider. This is already on there. Or I could add a box or a capsule, depending on the shape. Like you could define a hitbox where there's a capsule on like a torso and the arm and the joints and all of that. And you can get very complicated. Let's go to our collider here. And no, I don't want to edit it. Thank you. Okay, where? Okay, my Unity experts that are probably already in here. I don't know how I forgot this, but where is the gravity of this guy? Move you up. I don't have to apply a material, I thought. He needs a, thank you, rigid body. Appreciate it. It is a physics object, but it's a rigid body. So, thank you. Thank you. That's going to drive me nuts. You can add other physics-based objects called a rigid body, where you can set the mass of this object, the drag. Is it using gravity? Kinematic is going to be something that goes into your collision detection. So now that I have a rigid body on here, I could add, say, another sphere, and I could add a rigid body to that, and then I can shoot them at each other and they'd bounce off of each other. But we're just going to use gravity here. So let's hit play. Boop. There it goes. I could also turn gravity off, and it's just going to hang out here in space, but it still is a physical, real object now. So we've got that. It's something that's kind of useful. Make sure you save your scene as you go, because otherwise you will lose it if it crashes, depending on how well the recovery is. Let's see. So we've got this. So other things that are helpful, you can hit the F key, which orients to frame. So if I like zoom out and I kind of move around and I want to look at the sphere again, I'm going to hit F. Brings you right back nicely. Do the same for my camera or my light. We can also, let's play with the light source here too. So right now I've got this directional light source. Just like in Blender, I can change things around, like change the colors. And you actually see it in the preview here, which is kind of nice. Light will have an impact on your texture. So keep that in mind as you render out your scene. What else did we want? Oh, you know what? I'm jumping ahead in my slides. That's why I've got a problem here. Component physics rigid body is where I wanted to be. Add components. Physics. Rigid body. It was right there all the time. I knew I had a slide for this. I'm jumping way ahead, just having fun playing with Unity. Okay, before we go too far into that, this was asked before class, can we use assets in our games? And I said absolutely. There is the Unity asset store, or you can go find assets yourself. Basically, if you want to bring assets into your game, you can go here. Now, this used to be in the help menu, not help, window, asset store, and like this awful in Unity browser would pop up and it was really laggy and it sucked and I hated it. And it moved. It's now on the website only. Basically, you go to the asset store, you search for whatever you want. Let's say metal. So we want a metal texture. And here are all the texture packs that I can add. And I want it to be free. So let's, I think this is actually the one that I used on my little ball roller, actually. So I'm logged in. I'm going to add this to my assets. Okay. I'm going to open this in Unity because I can never remember where to click. Oh, it's just the package manager, which is under window. Refresh, please. You should be here somewhere. Oh, you know what? I'm not signed in. That's why. I need to sign in my assets. There we go. So, free metal. Download. "400 megs of space, by the way. Those of you worrying about your hard drive space. So this is one of the things where you can go nuts adding assets. Make sure that you only import what you need though, because if you import everything, it will balloon the size of your project. This is one very easy thing that you can optimize. This has a whole bunch of different materials that I could use. But if I'm only using one of them, I don't need to import every single one of these. But I am just for the purposes of showing you here. So I clicked import, bring everything in. It shouldn't take too long. These are going to pop in down here. Close my package manager. Excuse me. Got my scene. Now I see under assets that this thing popped up. Also under scenes, I see my sample scene. This is my default scene. If you want to have like a main menu scene, if you want to have a main game scene, if you want to have a level 2 scene, that's one way that you can manage your game or your simulator or whatever you're building. But I can click this metal textures pack. Here's a metal pattern. We see some previews here of what it looks like on the side. So I could just drag this matte file right onto it. And now I've got a nifty little ball. Or, let's see, what else do we have? Let's try, is this the matte file? Yep, I could drag it there. Look at that. Zero effort from my end. Just free assets off the asset store. Those of you that watch any popular YouTubers that make fun of like asset flipped games or default assets, this is exactly what they're talking about. It even kind of looks a little bit see-through too, which is kind of cool in some of these. So there, I've got a nice ball. It's no longer a horrible looking, basic thing. So I'll leave this as is for now. So asset store. The workflow here, go to the website, add it to your assets, log in Unity to your account, download, import what you need, and away you go. Other stuff that you can get particle systems, you can get physics, you can get full-on environments. Let me open up another Unity project that I hopefully saved because it takes a while to import. This one? I don't remember which one it was that I did now. You can download full pre-baked types of games. Like, so the thing that I'm hoping I'm importing here is a third-person perspective runner, platformer, whatever you want it to be. Assets are cool. You know, there's a reason why people build assets and put it up on the store and charge you for it because lots of people like assets. So this is everything that I've already talked about with our ball. Is this done yet? Still going? This might not be what I was thinking it was. Dang. Okay, let's import package manager. Well, I'm in here. I downloaded my assets. This third-person controller, no, not this one, this one. Third-person controller because the asset that I used to use I couldn't find anymore. This thing is super cool. So this one's a little bit heftier than some of the other ones with the amount of stuff there. But it comes with a sample scene, it comes with a character with controls, all pre-baked. So that's there. I'm gonna open up here, go to scenes, third person plus fly.unity. Now, F. We'll just leave it as is. My scene's way down here, but if I hit play, I get full-on 3D game. You see the little UI elements popping up here. So basically, as my character gets to a particular location, it's going to trigger user interface elements. I can basically move the camera around with my mouse right now, and I can fly. Whee! We've got Superman 64 up in here. Again, this is an asset for free straight off the store. Yeah, no, these are great for getting you up and running. And I've got he's got this is the Superman 64 pose. Nice. And we can fall. Ah! But he's Superman, so he wins. Will you be showing Unity code on Thursday? I should be, yeah. So, everything that you need is in here. So we see there is this, let's orient to that. So I've got a cube. I've got a bunch of assets here. So these are basically all game objects with planes. Got some obstacles. These are just prefabs. I've got a controller. We can actually, should be able to pop this open. Open. I've got it set to open in VS Code, which, excuse me, not quick enough to get to mute. There are Unity extensions for Visual Studio as well, if this is the environment you want to get into. But we see a whole bunch of stuff like there's a wake update on GUI, show message. So some of these are coded, some of them are baked in. Like there's a wake is when you're instantiating something, update is one way of updating your objects. And there's some where it's like after physics, before physics. I don't remember what the exact call is right now. But lots of cool stuff that you can do. That's just off the asset store. So we got a couple more minutes here. Let's end with some more basics. So we did that. One of the things too to keep in mind, so if you get through the Blender homework, you're going to hopefully generate something like this, import it into Unity. This is your scene mode that you see here. So we're in scene mode. Once you hit play, you can go into game mode, and that's basically going to be what your user would see. So like this is basically what the camera sees, right? So if we were to go, let's close this one so we don't suck down resources, go here. I could go into game mode, And this is basically what the camera shows without hitting play. Scene mode, game mode, scene mode. Um, so got that. We can transform our objects too. So here's my nice ball. Let's go ahead and scale it in the X direction and in the Y direction. And now it's a horrible extruded sphere. Whee. Basically, the point is that your standard rotations, transformations all apply here. Right, so we've got that. Bit of a yeah, so let's end with, so we'll do some animation next time. But just to give you a specific like example here, so thank you again for the rigid body comment. If we want it to be a component, we can add a rigid body component, physics component to that. Now a rigid body, if it is rigid, it's not deformable, meaning that you can't really muck about with it. This is an actual object now. It also has properties like gravity, has properties like inertia. We can add mass, we can add drag, stuff like that in the inspector. If it is a non-rigid object, we can deform it, we can break it. So this geometry and topology hopefully should sound familiar to you from way back when. Geometry is going to be where the vertices are. Topology is going to be the shape. So you could break something into pieces, for instance, right? We can also have intangible objects like kind of wispy smoke or stuff like that. But these are all the different types of objects we can have. So animation, we're going to leave off for now since that's going to take a few moments. One other thing that we can do here, let's import an asset. Would non-rigid objects exist in places where we know there won't be any interaction with it, like faraway background or something? Yeah, so a non-rigid object, it's debatable what you would want to do with it. Maybe it's a background thing, in which case you don't have any extra properties on it. So if you're going to make something non-rigid, though, you're probably intending to work with it. If you're adding this type of component onto something, basically you're adding extra processing that has to be done. So if you want like a background thing, that's just a static image or a static model in the background. Let's add on our donut though. So I clicked Assets Import. You can also get that from the menu up here, or I could have just dragged it on. Hey, here's my donut. Oops. Donut, where'd you go? Hey, there's my donut. Interestingly, with importing Blender files, so the .blend file, it comes with the camera. So we're going to get rid of this. Cannot be deleted, okay. I have to unpack it. We'll do that later. Oh, I guess we'll do it now. Camera, go away. Light, go away. Basically, the Blender file specified a camera and a light source. If I hit play now, my thing's not in view. I should have realized that. Camera, look at. Oh well, that's going to be very, very difficult to get to. You know, let's bring my donuts up a bit. Are you in frame now? Yes, you are in frame. Sorry, I'm not going to hold you too long here. I mean, I guess you could head out if you wanted, but hey, there's my my beautiful donut. You'd use a non-rigid object if you want to deform it. So like if you have slime or goo, or if you want to break your donut in half. Basically, you're going to deform or interact with it in some way. So we have our donut. Let's add on a rigid body, because this should work. Use gravity. There goes my donut. And I will leave you there. What we can also do, where's my terrain at? Why are you way over here? How are we so far off? Let's move you all this way, and this way, and this way. Okay, I just want to show you one last thing before we go. Whee! Oh no, it didn't collide. That's my bad. I don't have a collider. Donuts, yes. Let's add a collider. Let's just do a capsule. Conflicts with the rigid body. Oh no. Hit a box. Wow, that's not where it needs to be. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, this is something for another day, I think. I'm just kind of dinking around here anyway, so I hope you all have a wonderful day. I will see you all next time, and figure out getting Unity on your machines if you can, because it is lots and lots of fun. I'm not sure why that's not centered, but whee, still doesn't work. All right. Bye, everybody. Next step, fix the donut. See you all on Thursday.